Imagine a world where you can be immortal, but no one will ever remember you. Think about it for a second. You can live forever. Nothing can harm you. You ain't gonna die. But every time someone closes a door or leaves a room, you're forgotten. G'day, Dan. How you going? Do I know you? Yeah, we just spoke for the last hour. No, we didn't, you weirdo.
2 hours later.
Hey, how are you? I'm Dan. Nice to meet you. Yep, that is the premise of this book. Addie LaRue makes a deal with the devil and she is cursed and gets way more than she bargains for. And this book explores that concept in an extraordinarily touching way with a story that's beautiful and a writing style that is just impeccable, bordering on poetic, which is something that I did not expect to enjoy, but I was pleasantly surprised. V.E. Schwab pulled out all the tricks in this book and left nothing on the table. She put every bit of herself into it and you can really feel it throughout the pages. Now, if you're here right now, I'm betting that you've seen this book everywhere because it has been hyped all across the internet and social media like nothing I've seen in recent times. Mostly on TikTok, but everywhere I look, everyone is talking about this book, but doesn't live up to the hype. Well, calm down, cool your jets. I'll get there. But what I will say right off the bat is this book is nothing like what I would normally read. I'm usually a heavy fantasy reader and a sci-fi reader, and while this book is fantasy, it's not in the typical way and the traditional way that you might be expecting. But I still really enjoyed it and it totally hit home for me. Not to mention that since I finished reading it about a week ago, I have not stopped thinking about it. Firstly, I just want to touch on the writing style, which seriously borders on poetic. Even simple things like the way she describes her characters is so easy to visualize and so stunningly written. Quite often when authors describe their characters, they use words that I don't understand, or they use language that doesn't give me the visuals that I need to picture the character. I like a brief, one paragraph or less description, and V.E. Schwab did that beautifully. The way she describes their eyes or the texture of their hair or how it falls around their face, it's just beautiful. And I really appreciated the writing style, not just for the descriptions of characters, but throughout the entire book, everything was beautifully articulated. Now, what I probably enjoyed the most about this book is the tensions that V.E. Schwab was able to create and the unbelievable philosophical dilemmas that pop up all the way through this book that force you to question your own life and think about the people and the things that are most important to you and imagine what it would be like to lose them. Not necessarily lose the people, but lose different elements of your life that make you who you are. Don't worry, I will not spoil anything of this book. This is totally spoiler free. These inner tensions and emotions are just so raw that I couldn't help feel the pain and feel the joy throughout this book. I just completely was able to relate with it in a way that I didn't expect. I'm not an emotional person. I don't usually connect to characters or a book, not in such a profound way, but this book just absolutely brought it out of me and brought it to the surface. And I thought that that was such a testament to how well executed this book was from the author. It almost reached into my chest, grabbed my heart and said, hey, feel some things. It's time to feel some emotions. You don't normally do that, so now's as good a time as any. That is how it felt to me, especially the further we get through this book when the story really starts to take form and we understand very deeply who our main characters are. But having said all of those positive things, those are positive for me, and this book is not going to be for everybody. Not everyone is going to jive with it. Not everybody's going to connect with it. So let's go over the things that are good and bad that is going to help you determine whether this book is something that you think you can enjoy. First of all, like we touched on earlier, the premise of this book is we follow a young girl who wants every freedom in the world. She wants to explore everything life has to offer without being attached and tied down to anything or anyone. But she makes a deal with the devil, gets more than she bargains for, and suffers a curse that leaves her immortal, but no one can remember her. Now, what comes with that is a slow-paced story, not a lot of action, it's not very plot-driven, but what we get is a deep understanding of who our main characters are so that we can appreciate the journey that they are going to go on, knowing the curse that they are suffering. That is what this book is all about, understanding how deeply impactful this particular curse is for this particular character. And the only way to really, truly understand how much of an impact this curse has, we need to understand who Addie LaRue is deep down, what makes her tick, who is she as a person, and the only way to do that is to have a really slow building story. Hey guys, Editing Dan here. You might recognize me from the entire video. That's stupid. I can't believe I went through this entire review without mentioning that the ending of this story is very satisfying. I will not spoil anything, but it has a really satisfactory and very satisfying ending. But I never for 1 second felt like it was slow. I was deeply invested. I never, throughout the entire book, checked what page I'm on, and that is very, very rare for me. I'm usually an incessant page checker, but I didn't check it all. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't wait to get home every day and pick it up. I stayed up way too late for the few nights that I read this book because I absolutely flew through it. So while it is a slow-paced story, because you're thinking all the time and taking in and going through all these emotions and assessing your own life and how you deal with these situations and how much this curse would affect you, this book doesn't feel slow at all for me. But knowing that, it is still a slow-paced book, and if you are looking for action-packed and lots of fantasy, you're not going to get it here. Instead, what you're going to get is a beautiful story with a beautiful writing style told in an immaculate way, very easy to visualize, very easy to see yourself in these characters and relate that to your own life and connect in so many different ways to these characters. And for me, that was a really good thing. For you, you're the only one who can determine if that's the style of book you want to read. So to give you guys a star rating, because I know that's what you like the most, I could not put this book down. I couldn't stop reading it. I always wanted to get home to read more. I never checked what page I was on. I could not stop reading between the lines, and connecting with these characters. 5 stars. I just thought it was a beautiful execution of how a really beautiful story can be told, and I would highly recommend it. But you will know based on this review, hopefully, whether it's for you or not for you, because it's not going to suit everybody. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe to this channel. Let's help grow this channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!